Good afternoon. I am Peter Leclerc, Vice President Academic and Chief Learning Officer of Lethbridge College, and your Master of Ceremonies for today. We are gathered here on this beautiful spring day to take a few moments out of our busy schedules at what is typically a very busy time of year at Lethbridge College, to celebrate. From across the college, around the community, throughout the country, we have all come together to celebrate our new leader, Dr. Paula Burns, and reflect on her vision for our institution's future. We have come together to celebrate the college, its history, and its future. So I'd like to start by thanking everyone who has gathered here to celebrate with us: students, staff, alumni, community friends, industry partners, elected officials, and more. Thank you for being part of this great event. As many of you know, the college is built on traditional Blackfoot territory. As such, we thought it would be fitting to start to invite Blood Tribe member and former Lethbridge College student Troy Delaney to perform a traditional honor song. The performance is a song of praise, a way to express the joy and optimism we are all feeling at this time. Troy? Thank you, Troy. Now please join the Lethbridge Collegiate Institute's choir, led by Karen Hudson, in the singing of our national anthem. Thank you. At this point, I'd invite you to take your seat while I introduce our platform guests. I would ask that each person remain standing as I introduce them until all the guests have been introduced, and at that time, please hold your applause until that has occurred. First, Mr. Randy Jesperson, Chair, Lethbridge College Board of Governors. Dr. Paula Burns, President and CEO, Lethbridge College. The Honourable Thomas Lukazik, Deputy Premier and Minister of Alberta Enterprise and Advanced Education. Ms. Bridget Pasteur, MLA, Lethbridge East, and a Lethbridge College alumni. His Worship, Reiko Dodek, Mayor, City of Lethbridge. Dr. Mary Priest, Provost and Vice President Academic, Sheridan Institute of Technology and Advanced Learning. Ms. Cynthia Johnston, Vice Chair, Lethbridge College Board of Governors. Mr. Gord Young, Chair, University of Lethbridge Board of Governors. Dr. Mike Mann, President and Vice Chancellor, University of Lethbridge. Mr. John Jacobson, Vice Chair, Lethbridge College Board of Governors. Mr. Doug Stroh, Member, Lethbridge College Board of Governors. Ms. Susie Kennedy, Associate Vice President and Registrar, Enrollment Management and Learner Services, Lethbridge College. Ms. Laura Terry, Chair of our local 071001 of the Alberta Union of Public Employees, Lethbridge College. Mr. John Milder, Chair, Lethbridge College Alumni Association. Ms. Sandra Davis, Director of Collaborations, Athabasca University. Mr. Simon Griffiths, Vice President Corporate Services and Chief Financial Officer, Lethbridge College. Ms. Sherry Cousins, Member, Lethbridge College Board of Governors. Mr. Lance Tailfeathers, on behalf of the Blood Tribe Chief and Council. Mr. Wesley Provost, on behalf of the Bacani Nation and Council. Ms. Donna Kozlovi, Member, Lethbridge College Board of Governors. Mr. Travis Killian, Member, Lethbridge College Board of Governors. Mr. Ethan Gellany, Member, Lethbridge College Board of Governors, and a 2013 convicate from our Criminal Justice Policing Program. Mr. Dylan Hargraves, President, Lethbridge College Students Association, and a 2013 convicate from our General Studies Program. And finally, Ms. Rika Snip, President, Lethbridge College Faculty Association. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to present to you the platform party for the installation of our 8th President and CEO, Dr. Paula Burns. Thank you. You can sit down. Thank you. I'd also like to take this time to thank some of Dr. Burns' very special guests. First, her children. Please stand. Ashton, Darby, Carlene, and Kelson. And her friend, Deanne Hunter. Thank you for joining us today. You guys can sit down. Thank you to our FNMI elders who came today. Miss Beverly Hungrywolf, Blackfoot Elder, Lethbridge College, and honorary degree recipient from our Lethbridge College in 2011. Mr. Rod McLeod, Métis Elder, Lethbridge College. Mr. Christine Sherman, Inuit Elder, Lethbridge College. Miss Alice Bissonnette, President, Métis Local 2003. Thank you for joining us today. I would also like to thank our visitors from Japan who traveled a great distance today to join us in our celebration. From the Nippon Institute of Technology, Dr. Shuichi Watanabe, Head, Developmental Office for the Core Education and Research Project, Professor, Department of Innovation Systems Engineering. Mr. Kazuhiro Nakani, Komaba High School, Head of Student Affairs and Physical Education Teacher. Accompanying them are Mr. and Mrs. Phil and Cheryl Can. Mr. Can is Director of the Nippon Institute of Technology Intercultural Campus in Blairmore. Thank you for joining us. We are so honored to see how many from the community are here to join in the celebration. We have several former board members, members of our Board of Governors here with us today, including several of our former board chairs. And they're dispersed throughout the audience today. We thank them for joining us today. It is also our pleasure to see so many students, alumni, community leaders, and friends of the college, and of course, the many outstanding employees who are here with us today. All of you are the ones who make Lethbridge College the great institution that it is. Thank you all for being part of this day today. At this time, I'd like to now invite Mr. Randy Jesperson, Chair of the Lethbridge College Board of Governors, to say a few words.
Thank you, Peter, and welcome everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I'm a graduate of this great institution and take a lot of pride in what it does and has done over time. I grew up in a farm south of Tabor here and now find myself residing in Vancouver. So I digress a minute. Don't panic too much, Peter. But there is a story here or a message that will be obvious here in a moment. And I was just sitting back and reflecting on how nice it will be to sing the national anthem here today and again tomorrow at our convocation exercises, because it allows me to warm up for the Canucks in the playoffs. And as we like to say in Vancouver, we are all Canucks. So anyway, now back to business. Good afternoon to our honored guests, friends and family of Dr. Burns. I've met one, but not all of you, and it's sure nice to have you with us today. We appreciate you joining us for this historic event, Lethbridge College's first ever installation ceremony for our 8th president and CEO, Dr. Paula Burns. When we embarked on this journey about a year ago, we had high hopes and a long list of expectations. The search for a new president for this progressive institution was a task that would involve the entire community and was a responsibility of which there was no hire for the Board of Governors. For being the president and CEO of Lethbridge College means so much more than the title entails. The person who was to fill the role needed to have great post-secondary and business acumen, a passion for innovative teaching and learning, as well as a strong appreciation of community and a true sense of what it means to belong. As many of you know, Lethbridge College is a resource to more than just the city of Lethbridge. While the main campus is located here in town, we have rural campuses in Claresholm, Vulcan, and the Crow's Nest Pass. Our staff and students come to us from across the street, throughout the province, and all of this great country, Canada, and the world. I think we have close to 40 countries represented on campus. Keeping these far-reaching arms of the college in mind, it was of great importance to involve all of the stakeholders in the search process. After establishing a search and selection committee, we brought in expertise from a search firm, Odgers Berndtson, a company that specializes in executive searches. From there, we engaged Lethbridge College students, our staff, our community partners, and government officials to contribute to the process with us. We gathered feedback on what each contributor viewed the challenges and opportunities and priorities for Lethbridge College. We asked what qualifications they thought the next president and CEO should possess. As a committee, we wanted the process to be as inclusive and transparent as was practical. As the committee sifted through the applicants and came up with our short list, we knew that the person who would be chosen for the role was poised to bring formidable experience and great ideas to the job, that our choice would make Lethbridge College, to take Lethbridge College to yet a higher level of excellence. We had applicants from border to border across the country, as well as some internationally. The penultimate step in the process involved the candidates presenting the college community and answering questions from the diverse group that had gathered, followed by parallel luncheons with a cross-section of community leaders. Thereafter, the committee was prepared to make its final decision, and that we did. In mid-November of last year, the committee members of Lethbridge College's Board of Governors announced its decision to hire Dr. Paula Burns as Lethbridge College's 8th president and CEO. In doing so, the board placed its confidence in her to lead Lethbridge College into its 6th decade. Dr. Burns has a wealth of experience in post-secondary education and at the time had been serving as provost and vice president academic at NAIT. And we thank the president of that great institution, NAIT, for his cooperation and accommodation as both a reference for Paula as well as her early release from her contract to bring her here. Her body of work included positions from teaching to curriculum development to other leadership roles. In the short time she's been here, Dr. Burns has proven to be the leader that Lethbridge College needed to continue on its path of growth within this province. On behalf of the Board of Governors of Lethbridge College, staff, students, and the Southern Alberta community, I'd like to thank Dr. Burns for choosing Lethbridge College as the next stop in her journey. I look forward to working together as we set the vision for Lethbridge College's future. Of course, selecting a new president has implications provincially as well as locally. And we are pleased to be able to welcome Alberta's Deputy Premier and Minister of Alberta Enterprise and Advanced Education, the Honourable Thomas Lukaszuk. Our Deputy Premier was named the Minister for Enterprise and Advanced Education on February 4, the first day on the job for Dr. Burns. Excuse me. Minister Lukaszuk, thank you for being with us today. We invite you to come to the podium and bring a message from the province of Alberta.
Well, thank you so very much for the honor of having me over here, Mr. Mayor. A pleasure to be in Lethbridge and to be here along with your two fine MLAs, Bridget Pasteur and Greg Wiedek. And as you may have heard during the initial introduction of me, there were two solitary booing voices. And those are the two previous ministers of advanced education under whom I had the honor of apprenticing, Honorable Clint Dunford and Honorable David Coots. Thank you for being here as well. So for those of you in the local crowd, in the future, if you don't like any policy developments, please be reminded I apprenticed under these two fine individuals. Mr. Chairman of the Board of Governors, thank you for including me in this fine ceremony. And I know and I have been satisfied that the board has taken a very onerous and diligent task of choosing the best person for the job of not only being the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of this fine college, but also the President, and by de facto becoming a member of our team of presidents of Campus Alberta. I know Dr. Burns has extensive experience in Campus Alberta, having been previously with the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. And her commitment to your school and her commitment to Campus Alberta, I know, will be unwavering. But I am also very much satisfied that you have chosen someone who holds a doctorate in education. Someone who I know will bring to Lethbridge student-focused education that will be addressing local needs of local students for the local needs of this fine part of our province. Dr. Burns, I wish you all the best in your future endeavor with Lethbridge College. I know you have a very strong and committed board behind you that will assist you with management of this fine institution. I can assure you that Government of Alberta will be supporting you through Campus Alberta and make sure that Lethbridge College will have any and all ability to fully participate and grow your programs into the future. Our Premier Redford and our Cabinet and our caucus have made a determination that the future of Alberta economy will be dependent on the education of our young people. And we know that this education has to be accessible and it has to happen in all parts of our province. And this college plays a very vital role in providing that comprehensive education package to students, not only in Lethbridge, because I know that a large portion of your students that will be convocating tomorrow come from many other parts of our province and our country. So thank you so very much. All the best. And I'm looking forward to looking with you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Deputy Premier Thomas Lukaszuk. As you may know, Lethbridge College is Canada's first publicly funded community college. Since our doors opened, a few dozen students, 56 years ago, crossed our stage. We have maintained strong ties and solid partnerships with our city and our province. Representing that city and our college at the provincial level is MLA Lethbridge East, Bridget Pasteur. I invite Ms. Pasteur, who is also a Lethbridge College alumna from our nursing program, to please come forward at this time and say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon to all of my fellow dais people. What a pleasure to welcome Dr. Burns to Lethbridge. I'm probably going to say something that dates me, and perhaps I shouldn't, but out of the 8 presidents, I think I have been personally involved with 7. So that does sort of put an age on me. However, what I've watched is that each president brought something new to the campus and brought it to where we are today. Each step that each president took was a step forward. And I have every confidence. I've been lucky enough to have lunch with Dr. Burns a couple of times. Everybody should have lunch with Dr. Burns a couple of times. Not only for her pleasant personality, but they've got great food here. I'm very, very convinced that Dr. Burns is more than capable and will take us to that great big next step that the government's looking at, and that we will become, as Lethbridge College, a very integral part of Campus Alberta, which will take us into that 21st century. And I said to Dr. Burns, I'm not sure who's prouder, she or the children. So wonderful, and thank you very much, and welcome to Lethbridge.
Thank you, Bridget. Today, speaking on behalf of our city is our mayor, His Worship, Reiko Dodic. Mayor?
Unlike my wife, Peter likes calling me His Worship. You know, when Mr. Coots and Mr. Dunford booed, at first I thought it was, I thought they were going to boo me. Then I was thinking that maybe my wife, who's in the audience, was booing me as well. So I'm very pleased that they weren't. You know, I've been doing this for probably 100 times, and each time I have some notes, and I noticed over the last 9 years, 6 as an alderman, 3 as mayor, that the font size keeps increasing. I started with 11 font, and I'm up to about 20 at this point. But let me begin by saying how happy I am to be here on this occasion. And today is the beginning of a new tradition for the Lethbridge College, and that is the installation of its newest president. Now, many of you have never attended an installation, but I had the opportunity to do so when Dr. Mike Mann was installed as the newest U of L president not that long ago. He's the guy with the black gown with the orange trim, looks very nice. Now, I had to admit it was an eye-opening event for me as dean after dean and speaker after speaker got up to and prefaced their remarks by staring at Dr. Mann, some of them wagging their fingers like this at him and saying things like, Dr. Mann, I charge you with making this a center of learning excellence, and so on. This went on for a number of speakers. And now as a lawyer, charging someone with anything has a totally different connotation. I kept wondering how they could let a guy like that run anything after he was being charged with everything under the sun. Anyways, it finally dawned on me that that was the traditional way the university installs their president. But today it gives me great pleasure to be part of the celebrations that formally welcome Dr. Paula Burns as the newest president of the best college in Canada. A college that was opened in 1957 as the first public community college in Canada. Dr. Burns is taking over the helm of a college that since its inception has become a leader in teaching and research excellence. Lethbridge College graduates have excelled in a variety of fields of endeavor and have represented a stellar testimonial to the college's programs. I know I see in the audience one of the alumni of the year, Chief Tom McKenzie, the chief of our local police force. And that's just one example of the many alumni that have gone on to bigger and better things in our community and elsewhere. The college's educational achievements and athletic programs are second to none. A college whose president must be worthy of the task of continuing the tradition of excellence. I've had a chance to see Dr. Paula Burns in action on a number of occasions since her arrival, and I can attest to the fact that she is an extremely capable individual. Her resume clearly evidences that to be the case and demonstrates that. But that is only a part of what a person is. In Lethbridge, we value other things as well. We value folks with a sense of humor. We value those that are prepared to listen, those that appreciate the value of collaboration. And I think today Minister Lukaszuk heard from many people what a collaborative community this is, what a collaborative institutions University of Lethbridge and the college are, and many other organizations. And in the short period of time, I've seen all of that, all of those qualities and more in Dr. Paula Burns. There will be many challenges facing our newest Lethbridge College president, but I know that she is up to the task. And I know that she will succeed in continuing the tradition of excellence, which is part of the Lethbridge College culture. So Dr. Burns, on behalf of my office, on behalf of my council colleagues, two of whom are present here today, Alderman Farron Ellis and Councillor Bridget Burns, on behalf of our community, I welcome you. And oh yeah, I charge you with making Lethbridge College the best it can be, and I know you will succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Dodick. You notice I didn't use your worship. As I mentioned earlier when I introduced the Blood Tribe member Troy Delaney, the college has a rich tradition and relationship with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit communities across Canada. Unfortunately, Chief Charles Weaselhead of the Blood Tribe, who is listed in our program, is unable to attend today's event. We are delighted, however, that so many FNMI community members are here to celebrate with us today, including our college elders. Lethbridge is very fortunate to have two strong post-secondary institutions that are working together to provide educational opportunities for our community. One such great collaboration, which is unique in the province, is our nursing program, nursing education in Southern Alberta. Students complete the first 2 years of the college and their next 2 years at the University of Lethbridge. It is a successful partnership we are proud of. I now ask Dr. Michael Mann, President and Vice Chancellor of the University of Lethbridge, to say a few words.
Thank you, Peter. Deputy Premier, sorry, I'll have to say this, Your Honor. Bridget Pasteur, MLA, Board Chair, President Burns, honored guests. It is an absolute pleasure to be here today for this first time ever installation celebration at the Lethbridge College. Having gone through an installation in not that distant a past, though it now seems like a distant past, I remember that day very well, and what a exciting day it was for my family, as with your family, and for the community. And so I'm really pleased to be able to be here today to celebrate this very special day with you. As many of you know, the University of Lethbridge has a long, long history with Lethbridge College. In fact, in many ways, we were the birth child of Lethbridge College. We grew out of the college. We shared our first 4 years as a university on this very territory. And so we have had a very, very strong and symbiotic relationship since the inception of our university. And so when Peter mentions the Bachelor of Nursing program, I hold that program up as really the true exemplar of what a Campus Alberta should be that Clint Dunford coined in a few short years ago. And so as we think about the future of Lethbridge College, we think about a college that has been truly innovative, that has looked to create opportunities for college students to not only have an outstanding experience while at college, but also to prepare students to have the opportunity to move forward, whether it is into a career or onto another institution to complete a degree. You have recruited somebody who I think has all of the attributes necessary for that next stage of Lethbridge College, as Bridget said. This is an individual that is truly a champion of education, has demonstrated that through her own personal experiences in education, and then as a provost and vice president academic at NAIT. And so when I saw the announcement of Paula, I knew that you had chosen well. But then when I had the opportunity to spend some time chatting with Paula over lunch, It was clear to me that this was an individual that was going to do great things for your college. This is a college that deserves great leadership, and you have chosen a great leader. So on behalf of the University of Lethbridge, first of all, congratulations, Randy, to you and your board for the selection you've made. On behalf of our university, I welcome Paula and your family to this great city. I know Maureen and I are really looking forward to spending time with you and your family. And having been welcomed so fantastically by this community 2.5 short years ago, I can tell you that this community is a very welcoming community, and you will enjoy your time here immensely.
Thank you, Dr. Mann. The next stage of our celebration is a unique one. It is the making of a new tradition at an institution which is well grounded in this community and which is rich in history of providing learning and education to meet our community needs. This is the first installation ceremony of a president at Lethbridge College. And to commemorate this very special occasion, Lethbridge College has created several meaningful symbols. Dr. Burns, would you please come forward at this time for your investiture? Let me first start by telling you a bit about the presidential robe Dr. Burns is wearing. It is the first time the college has created a robe for its president. Dr. Burns is wearing the robe today and will wear it at all ceremonial events from this day forward when representing Lethbridge College. The robe is designed in the colors of the college, the blue of the prairie sky and the green of the coulees, of the land we call home. I'd now like to invite Ms. Susie Kennedy, Associate Vice President and Registrar, Enrollment Management and Learner Services, to assist me in the hooding. Susie? Dr. Burns, we would like to present you with a ceremonial hood. In the academic world, items traditionally given at ceremonies mark an academic accomplishment, including an earned master's and doctorate. And hoods are often the most impressive component of the academic costume. They communicate the wearer's school, degree, and field of study. This hood has been created for you, Dr. Burns, our 8th President and Chief Executive Officer of Lethbridge College. At this time, I'd like to ask our board chair, Mr. Randy Jesperson, to please come forward to lead Dr. Burns through the oath of office and to present the first ever Lethbridge College Presidential Medallion. The oath of office has been written specifically for our President and Chief Executive Officer. It is based on input received through representatives from our various employee groups, our students, our College Leadership Council, and our Board of Governors. Randy?
Thank you, Peter. Dr. Paula Burns, you have now formally assumed the function and office of President and Chief Executive Officer of Lethbridge College. On behalf of the Lethbridge College Board of Governors, I charge you, there we go again, to keep and preserve well and faithfully the mission and vision of the college and to promote the college's well-being and that of its students and staff to the best of your ability.
I, Paula Burns, promise to keep, preserve, and foster the goals and growth of Lethbridge College, and with the help of others, to inspire learning and innovation among our students, our staff, and our communities. I promise to facilitate and nurture the partnerships and collaboration that are essential to our work, and I will strive to create opportunities for the college community to continue to lead and transform education. Together, we will achieve our objectives by building on our strengths and by supporting our highest tradition of educational excellence, satisfying the diverse needs of the communities we serve.
By resolution of the Board of Governors, I do hereby affirm installation of you, Dr. Paula Burns, as President and Chief Executive Officer of Lethbridge College. with all of the rights, the privileges, authorities, and responsibilities of that office. Even as you are invested with the robes of your office, may you also be invested with the strength and power to discharge the duties of President and Chief Executive Officer, leading Lethbridge College on its path to transform education through both innovation and excellence.
Thank you, Randy and Paula. And finally, I would like to ask our board chair to present Dr. Burns with the first ever Lethbridge College Presidential Medallion. The medallion is housed in a beautifully crafted box specially created for this occasion by Leon Wensman, an instructor in the Carpentry Apprenticeship Program. We thank him for his willingness and outstanding craftsmanship. The medallion carries the college crest and is a symbol not only of the rich tradition of Lethbridge College that carries on, the rich tradition Lethbridge College carries of education and community partnerships, but also of innovation and excellence. Also, the courage and determination of Lethbridge College to move forward and be a leader in post-secondary education in the province of Alberta. It is now my pleasure. Got ahead of myself. Now it is my pleasure to invite Dr. Mary Priest, Provost and Vice President Academic of Sheridan Institute of Technology and Advanced Learning in Ontario, to the podium to share a few words with us about our President and Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Paula Burns. Dr. Priest has known Paula personally and professionally for years, and we are grateful for her presence here today. Dr. Priest?
Distinguished guests, governors, President Burns, members of the Burns family, the Baxter family who is here in spirit, members of the Lethbridge College community, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to have been invited to share some personal insights about Dr. Paula Burns as we meet here today to celebrate the installation of your 8th President and CEO at Lethbridge College. I met Paula 10 years ago when I was Provost and Vice President Academic at the Michener Institute in Toronto. Paula was away on maternity leave during my first year at Michener after enjoying the arrival of her 4th and youngest child, Kelson. At the time, she was a respiratory therapist and professor of respiratory therapy at Michener and had completed her master's degree in arts and education. I was advised by our then president that I should really consider assigning Paula to do some curriculum work upon her return because she had the potential to be very accomplished as a curriculum designer and faculty developer. I had no appreciation at the time what working with Paula would mean to me or to many others. Very accomplished? Absolutely. For curriculum design and faculty development, a toe in the water. There are some things that would have been helpful for me to understand in 2003 when Paula walked into my office and we began our journey together. So I thought it might be helpful if I shared my top 5 lessons learned as Paula's boss, colleague, and now friend. First of all, I could really have benefited from understanding that for Paula, average is not good enough. Excellence is her personal measure. For her, transforming something strong into something superb is thrilling. Something satisfactory into outstanding, the norm. Paula makes the most of everything and everyone. And as a person, she is a person for whom, as Peter Drucker observed, leadership is lifting a person's vision to high heights, the raising of a person's performance to a higher standard, the building of a personality beyond its limitations. Secondly, no one alerted me to the fact that Paula has a voracious appetite for reading and that she remembers and connects with every fact she devours. Now, to set the stage, the Michener Institute is a post-secondary educational institution in Ontario committed to the preparation of medical technologists and technicians. I, as a career academic and non-healthcare provider, was their vice president academic and an alien in their world. Paula, as a respiratory therapist, was accepted by the community and became my tour guide in this foreign territory. Armed with sound evidence, as we believed, research-informed, as we professed, Paula and I, with a team of our Michener colleagues, set out on the lofty mission, and nursing educational folks will appreciate this, to introduce interprofessional education and simulation practice into the Michener curriculum. Our big, hairy, audacious goal was to diminish the incidence of patient errors and to enrich the caliber of healthcare education. Now, there's a famous quote attributed sometimes to Woodrow Wilson and sometimes to others that suggests changing education is like moving a cemetery. You never know how many people care until you try to do it. So, naively, we proceeded to do what we believed to be the absolute right thing, and it wasn't very long before it became very apparent that many cared about the direction we had assumed. We had unsettled our faculty, aggravated our healthcare partners, and stretched ourselves to our intellectual, physical, and sometimes emotional limits. One day, a president of a very large downtown Toronto hospital came into my office to advise me that the changes we were undertaking were causing a lot of noise in his institution. And frankly, he didn't care how much we were up to or even what we did, as long as I could guarantee that he would enjoy some much sought-after silence. As Paula and I strategized our next steps, Paula hit the books. Her diagnosis was that we were deep into transformational change with little understanding of either its dynamics or its processes. She immersed herself, and by extension me, in the leadership literature. She'd come into my office to ask if I'd read her latest volume, which was always the signal to me that I had yet another book to read. Thus we collaborated, grew our libraries, ballooned the profits for Indigo and Amazon, and became transformational change apostles committed to supporting our colleagues and the Institute through the choppy waters that we ourselves had stirred up. Never before have I met someone who can read, retain, reflect, and transform ideas into reality with as much zeal and personal commitment as does Paula. She charted the course for our personal and professional journeys as educators, absolutely had the courage to hold true to the direction, and quietly kept her eye on the important elements. If there's truth to John Maxwell's observation that a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way, then from my experience with Paula, you at Lethbridge College now have a leader who is prepared to know, go, grow, and show. The third piece of information about Paula that would have proved helpful was to understand the boundless energy and commitment that are the essence of her persona. If Paula had musical talent, and about this I'm not so sure, so you'll have to ask her to sing sometime and see what happens, I believe that she would comfortably assume the position as your conductor. When faced with a complex situation, she enjoys managing all the variables, aligning and realigning them until she's sure that she's arranged them in the most resonant configuration possible. She is flexible, she sets others up for success, and intuitively senses how different people might work together. Now, back to Michener for a second. To support our faculty, Paula, as the conductor, and her team designed, developed, and hosted what she affectionately called IPE Camp. Now, for several consecutive years, we invited 50 to 60 faculty and clinical partners to go to camp to experience 3 days of interprofessional interaction. What I personally found to be at times a grueling, emotional experience was exhilarating for Paula. And in hindsight, she fondly remembers these expeditions as the best. She embraced these opportunities to work with others to expand their horizons. Rosalind Carter noted that a great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but ought to be. Paula knew where we needed to go, and she took us there. But it was sort of like a dose of Buckley's. Sometimes it tasted awful, but it turned out to be for the best. This work we did together was often intense and very focused. Despite the many job-related demands that we brought upon ourselves and for which we felt profoundly responsible, Paula, as part of her personal commitment to her future in academia, pursued a doctoral program at the University of Toronto while doing this work at Michener. So mother of 4, commuting 3 to 4 hours a day to and from Toronto, vice provost leading a massive transformational agenda, and active educator, Paula completed her doctoral work. Not yet satisfied with her level of education and knowing, she then enrolled in her MBA program at Royal Roads University to complement her work as an academic with business acumen. It was while pursuing her MBA that Paula was recruited to come to Alberta as vice provost and then provost at NAIT. Now, contrary to your understanding about the winds, the Chinook that is Paula blew into Alberta from the east. The fourth piece of information unknown to me in 2003 was that Paula is a born leader. As an insatiable learner, Paula has mastered the theories of leadership and has grown to spiritually and intellectually embrace these theories as her own. Through her position as your president and CEO, I know that Paula will exemplify the courage, ethics, and moral fiber that you wish for Lethbridge College. Finally, lest you think that Paula might be all work and no play, it's important to understand that she derives a great deal of pleasure by being with her close friends and family. There is nothing that she loves more than a canoe trip in the wilderness with her daughter Carlene and friends, discussing ideas and possibilities with her ladies, or sharing a good glass of wine with colleagues, and I guess good food at Lethbridge as well. Paula is far more interested in the character and personality of others than in the job titles or status, and very much prefers to be seen as a person rather than a provost or a president. She truly believes that a great leader's courage to fulfill her vision comes from passion, not position. In Paula, you have a president and CEO who will encourage deep relationships, will strive for mutual respect and understanding, and will share her passions. And all this with good humor and a very warm laugh. Congratulations to the Lethbridge College Board of Governors. You have recruited a singular leader whose strengths include the ability to make the best of everything, an inquisitive collector of ideas, a relator who values her relationships, a conductor who will lead you to your finest performance yet, and a consummate learner for whom learning and leadership are inextricably linked. Her leadership beliefs and principles are solidly supported by her core values of courage, trust, hope, compassion, and transparency. It's a great professional and personal honor for me to introduce to Lethbridge College community to your new president and CEO, Dr. Paula Burns. I know that together you will have the courage to give up the good in order to go for the great. Bon voyage. May this journey you are initiating together be bold, productive, and best of all, fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Our board chair just leaned over and said, the expectations just went up. Uh-oh. Honored guests, family, and friends, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming today. I am honored to be standing here this afternoon as the 8th president and CEO of this great institution. Lethbridge College is poised to lead and transform education in Alberta, and I am absolutely thrilled to be part of it. Mary, a special thank you to you for your kind words, for being here today, but more importantly, for seeing the potential in me many years ago. What she left out of her stories was how she called me into her office one day and asked if I would consider assuming an interim role as a chair, as a leader. And I remember my response being, well, you know, I think I could do that. And her response to me was, there's no question if you can do it, it's whether you want to or not. So really what you did was awaken my love and passion for leadership, and for that I'm grateful. I am still quite amazed at how smooth the transition to Lethbridge has been for me. Once I knew there were two really important things that I needed to know when I came. The first was, where do I park? And the second was, where do I get coffee? After that, it was really easy. From the very start, I felt that I was embraced by the entire community, and so thank you to all. Throughout my interview process, I think I counted up, I met 40 people, all of who welcomed me with open arms, and it was fantastic. In my short time here, I've seen firsthand how this institution does provide high-quality, innovative programs and services that have really enabled our learners to achieve their educational and career goals. I've experienced some of the collective strengths we have as an institution that I really believe are integral to the culture of our college and provide a really solid foundation for the future. I know that all of our people have a strong commitment to students. This strength probably isn't unique to most post-secondary institutions, but it is what keeps us moving forward. And you can feel this commitment as soon as you come onto the campus. Every employee is focused on helping students succeed. Another remarkable strength of ours is engagement and partnership with the greater Lethbridge community and region. You've heard about that today. And many of you will know that I was just blown away by the community support right from the very first interaction during my interview process. It really was a factor that contributed to me wanting to be here. I also see how we as a college have made a practice of responding to the emerging needs within the province. This is a strength. Needs continue to emerge, we continue to meet them. Recently, we saw the creation of the college's Powerline Technician Training Program, where we are working with several companies and the City of Lethbridge to train those very in-demand workers. In this and many other instances, the college and industry have shown that we can, and we will continue, to create the workforce of the future. We as a college also excel in applied research. We have projects in environmental science, agriculture, and technology, and many other areas that benefit not only the students and the faculty, but also the business and industry in the region. As we further enhance this work, it's one way that Lethbridge College can help to diversify the province's economic position and contribute to the many solutions that will need to be found. And we are planning for the future. As you know, the college is on the cusp of building a new trades and technology facility. This facility will provide space for leading-edge teaching and learning that's flexible, adaptable, and will meet the changing industry needs. The facility is badly needed. Our existing trades and technology space is nearing the end of a very, very long and productive life. It's a facility that's getting a bit tired. I look forward to watching our new facility become part of our campus landscape. We have been one of the greatest institutes in terms of measuring our student success while they're here and while they head out into the world. Our students, as was mentioned earlier, come from around the globe, over 40 countries represented on campus, and lots more in our virtual communities. We have many courses available online and many flexible pathways. And if you think about it, I can look out and see the success stories of many in the room. We have about 150 alumni who now work as staff members in every part of the college, including on our senior leadership team. And in the larger community, we have chiefs of police, elected officials, presidents of companies of all sizes, entrepreneurs, and extraordinary volunteers, all of whom got their start at Lethbridge College. You can pretty much see why I was thrilled to be offered the job, can't you? With the people, the excellent programs, the record of success that's already in place, it's my true pleasure to provide leadership to move the college forward, to help write those next important phases of its history. I am committed to taking the solid foundation that exists, built by the vibrant community, and expanding it even further. We will embrace and maximize the talent of individuals and the college as a whole, creating a culture of strength-based collaborative leadership throughout the college and throughout the community. So what is the future? Well, let me just set the stage a bit for you. As was mentioned, the Deputy Premier and I started new jobs on the same day. In fact, I think it was probably the first email that I read as a president that we had a new Minister of Enterprise and Advanced Education. So my thought was, how's that for change? And do you know what one of our board chair, Randy Jesperson's favorite questions of me is? Are we being bold enough? So I think it fits with what you heard from Mary. I see my role as one where I'm to guide and build on the strengths of the past, set a vision for the future, and more importantly, nurture that culture of trust that encourages every person here to work from their passions and strengths and be leaders. I lead out of my passion for leadership, for learning, for relationships. And I do love change, and I know my calling is as a transformational leader, so I couldn't be more excited. Lethbridge College will remain a strong and integral part of the community in Southern Alberta. We will embrace the changes occurring in the provincial post-secondary system, and we will lead and transform education in Alberta. In the less than 3 months that I started as the president and CEO, we have begun the strategic planning process, the next strategic planning process, engaging our Board of Governors, our leaders, our management forum, and next month, we're hosting an event that will involve our entire college community. We also will engage our stakeholders and our partners as we further enhance our plans for the next several years. One of the things that the board said to me a couple of weeks ago, our plan was to submit a strategic plan in early fall, September. So about 2 weeks ago, the question was, well, could we have that ready for June? You know, I was on teleconference and thought, are you kidding? But then as I pondered, I thought it absolutely needs to be ready for June as we move into the future. It's a rapidly changing environment. Lethbridge College inspires and facilitates learning and innovation to meet the economic and social needs of Alberta. As we lead into the future, we're going to focus on some key areas: academic transformation, collaborative relationships, and revenue diversification. I know that Lethbridge College future does not lie in the same programs we had when we started back in 1957. Our future probably doesn't even lie in the same programs we have now. Instead, Lethbridge College will continually advance our curriculum, the learning experiences, the applied research and innovation through partnership with business and industry. I believe we need to foster a culture of creativity and innovation that will assist our students in contributing to economic and social growth as learners and as graduates. Our approaches to teaching and learning will continue to evolve. Perhaps we'll be even past the point of the increasingly popular mass open line courses, or MOOCs. Our faculty will be leaders in applied research, and our partners will commercialize the innovative technologies required for the new economy. I do look forward to building on the many collaborative relationships and partnerships we have in place today. You've heard about a lot of them today. And developing new ones in areas where we see mutual benefit in meeting the needs for the province. We will create a workplace learning model that supports the integration of education into the workplace in a way that really enables business and industry to develop the workforce that better meets the needs. We know that taking 2 or 3 or 4 years off to go to school is not possible for many. And so Alberta's model for apprenticeship works because there's a partnership between the industry, the government, the colleges, and the technical institutes. So I'm wondering, what might a model look like in other areas like business and healthcare, similar to that of what we have in apprenticeship? We need to find new ways of collaborative partnerships. You've already heard about our collaborative partnership with the University of Lethbridge on the nursing program, and we look forward to working with Dr. Mann and his team to really further enhance the pathways for learners and to create new and innovative approaches in meeting needs in southern Alberta. The Deputy Premier and I completely agree on we really have a unique opportunity in southern Alberta, particularly with our partnership with the University of Lethbridge. And the budget for 2013 certainly has elevated our attention to a revenue diversification strategy. Deputy Premier, MLA Pasteur, we appreciate the challenge the province is facing, and we know our financial stability also depends on our ability to diversify our revenue sources. We will create new opportunities for industry to partner with us through corporate training and through applied research. And we'll continue to develop the culture of philanthropy that connects really the heart of the region and the success of Lethbridge College. I am very confident that as time goes on, the stories of success about Lethbridge College will only be more impressive and inspirational as we focus on academic transformation, the collaborative partnerships, revenue diversification, and really developing our people. My confidence comes from knowing that Lethbridge College is poised to lead and transform education in Alberta because we're willing to change and adapt and meet current and future needs of the province and the country. The effects of our leadership, the consequences of that transformation will ripple through every layer of our city, our province, our country, and I believe our world. Thank you for entrusting me with this wonderful opportunity, for trusting me to lead the college at this exciting time.
Thank you, Dr. Burns, and congratulations again on your installation as Lethbridge College's 8th President and CEO. I think that deserves another hand. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking the time to join us this afternoon. Your attendance has made this celebration all the more meaningful. We have started a tradition, made history here today with the first formal installation of Lethbridge College President, and we thank you all for celebrating with us. I will now ask you to please rise for the departure of the platform party. Please remain standing until the entire party has made its way out of the room, and thank you again, everyone, and congratulations, Dr. Burns.